So these guys are making a scene. I'm trying to keep calm and collected because we all know how that would look if I was the one making the noise. Growing up in the UK for me was a very simple experience to say the least. For the most part, my childhood consisted of me waking up and minding my damn business. I never really got involved with any shenanigans. I'm sure you've heard about that YN activity. Thankfully, I've never been in any crazy altercations with police or anything of the sort, and mainly kept to myself. I wasn't involved in none of that. I was pretty much a straight up civilian, so much so that you probably had to press square to talk with me. And I'll say with my chest that I don't want no smoke. Perfect. Well, all that's to say is that no matter how much you live contrary to typical stereotypes, there will always be people who think of you otherwise. And that's what this story is about. So to set the scene, this story takes place back when I used to attend secondary school. Now, going to a secondary school in London, we had the amazing privilege of being able to go to these wonderful establishments known as a chicken and chip shop. If you're from London or another location that has these spots, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. You get your fried chicken, you get your chips, you basically stuff them both in a box and you got yourself a pretty darn good meal. Albeit your arteries will be sweating grease, but still good eats nonetheless. In fact, it was the perfect after school meal for a school kid trying to numb the pain of being cooped up in lessons all day. So after school, there would be hordes upon hordes of students, not only from my school, but all the neighbouring schools in that area, as well as just regular people who all gathered at these shops, feeling for that chicken and chip wombo combo, and of course, I was no different. I get to my regular spot and it's packed to the brim. I was used to it being busy after school, but this time something was out of the ordinary. Like there wasn't even room to stand inside. So I realized the only way I'm gonna get my food at a reasonable time is if I go to another shop. Luckily for me, there was another spot, literally right next door to the first one. Now I had been to this spot once or twice in the past, and whilst it wasn't as good as the main shop, it was edible, I guess. At this point, I'm so starved that I could eat just about anything. I chilled, I wasn't that hungry. So I go to this other shop, right, and it's still quite packed, although not as nearly as packed as the other one. So after waiting a bit, I go ahead and place my order. Hey yo boss man, let me get 6 wings and chips please. I place my money on a counter and I wait. And wait. And wait. Quite a bit of time has passed and I'm slowly coming to the realization that these guys might have forgotten my order or something. So I head to the front where the counter was to see when I was gonna get my food. So I told one of the employees the situation and he gets me my food, but then he asks me if I have paid. And I told him I have. Then he gives me some strange look as if he thought I was lying. He asks one of his co-workers, who just happened to be the one who I originally placed my order with, if I have paid. Now I don't know what exactly they said because they were speaking in a foreign language, but using my intuition, it was basically along the lines of, yeah, don't give him the food, that guy didn't pay bro. So at this point, the guy is telling me I can't get my food unless I pay. So I'm standing on business because I know I did indeed pay. Like I said earlier, I put my money on a counter and waited. Soon after, these guys start making a scene like I didn't pay. Oh, I'm stealing. And I'm pretty sure I heard some guys in the back who were making the fries saying some stuff in their language. Because some of them weren't natively from the country, they thought speaking in their own dialect was some kind of avenue they could use to pretty much say anything they wanted about me without me being able to understand what they were actually saying. And based on their tone and expression, I'm willing to bet money that whatever they said didn't have the best intentions behind it. This might just be an assumption, but I'm pretty sure some of them had no idea what was actually going on, but they still wanted to chime in anyways. Like literally, put the fries in the bag, bro. Like at this point, you might be thinking, maybe this all might be just one big misunderstanding. Maybe they thought I just didn't pay. But nah, I'm not hearing it, because you wanna know what confirmed it for me? Was that on top of all the other things I observed, I was the only black guy in the shop. What are we talking about? So out of all the other people in the store, yep, it must be me that didn't pay. And to be honest, I'm not even the type of guy to scream racism for everything, or anything really. And ideally, I would like to give people the benefit of the doubt in cases in which I do suspect it. This time around though, it was so blatant that you've just gotta call it out. Like I wouldn't be surprised if one of the workers got a bit too carried away and straight out called me a nigga. So these guys are making a scene. I'm trying to keep calm and collected because we all know how that would look if I was the one making the noise. And one of them say they're gonna check the CCTV cameras in the shop, but he said it in a kind of snarky way, as if he was gonna check the CCTV and find some damning evidence that I was lying and ultimately tried stealing from the shop. A free £3 meal, mind you. I mean, I was broke back in secondary school, but a £3 meal? That's low. That's low. So I simply tell him to check it. He goes into the same back room in the shop for a couple minutes, presumably to check the CCTV, and he comes out so straight-faced, like you could tell how deep down he knows himself that he messed up, that they messed up. So they eventually give me my food, no apology by the way, and I leave the shop. So I left the shop with my food and however much of my dignity that was left intact, because the shop had other customers that witnessed the whole thing. If I'm being honest, I didn't really know what to think about the whole situation, and looking back at it now, the whole thing could have been avoided, especially when realizing they had CCTV in the store. Like, why didn't you just check it in the first place? So moral of the story, in this life, by all means necessary, try and not settle for second options, because usually there's a reason why said thing has been deemed the second option in the first place.